Welcome to the NextGe AI Unveiled. Part 3, AI at the Edge of Human Experience, Grief, Therapy, and Regulation.
Host, in our final segment, we turn to the most intimate and ethically fraught applications of AI, where the technology is intersecting with our deepest human experiences: grief, mental health, and loneliness.
Segment 5, Digital Ghosts, AI, Grief, and Ethical Frontiers.
A new and poignant trend is emerging in Russia. For a fee of roughly $30, war widows are commissioning AI animated memorial videos of their fallen soldiers, using just a few photographs submitted via messaging apps. AI tools generate short, lifelike video tributes, sometimes with simulated voices, that bring a static image to life. For the families, these digital reanimations can be a powerful tool to process grief and find a sense of closure, especially amid the unresolved casualties of war. Proponents of this technology argue that it democratizes the ability to create moving tributes, helping to preserve memory in a dynamic way. But this practice sits at a deeply complex ethical crossroads. The central quandary is the issue of consent. Would the deceased have agreed to have their likeness used in this way? We can only guess based on who they were in life. This opens the door to a host of other concerns. These reanimations can be used to create a sanitized, idealized version of the deceased, which could inadvertently hinder the messy, necessary process of genuine grieving. There is also the potential for emotional manipulation, where a lifelike avatar could be made to deliver messages or endorse ideas they never would have in life. What makes this trend a critical signal is that it represents the commercialization of what could be called digital necromancy. A market is being created for services that operate in a complete legal and ethical void regarding the post-mortem rights of an individual. As the technology improves, allowing for more realistic animations and interactive conversations, it will force a global legal and societal reckoning. Questions that were once theoretical are now urgent. Who owns a deceased person's digital likeness? What are the permissible uses of a reanimated avatar? And where is the line between tribute and exploitation? The trend we're seeing in Russia is an early tremor, signaling a massive impending debate about the legal framework for our digital afterlife.
Segment 6, The Unregulated Couch, America's Patchwork Approach to AI Therapy.
Host, from grief to mental health. In the United States, a growing number of people are turning to AI applications for therapy and counseling. But in the absence of any federal guidelines, a chaotic and confusing patchwork of state-level regulations is emerging, creating significant risks for vulnerable users. Right now, states are taking 3 fundamentally different approaches. We've broken this down in a detailed table in our show notes, but the 3 main philosophies are prohibition, regulation, and inaction. First is the prohibition model, adopted by states like Illinois and Nevada. Spurred by tragic events, these states have passed laws that outright ban AI from providing mental health treatment without the direct, active oversight of a licensed human therapist. The laws come with steep fines, up to $10,000 in Illinois and $15,000 in Nevada, and are designed to protect both patients and the integrity of the therapy profession. Second is the regulated safeguard model, pioneered by Utah. Utah's HB 452 bill doesn't ban AI therapy apps, but instead mandates a strict set of safeguards. These include requiring clear and conspicuous disclosure that the user is interacting with an AI, not a human, strong data privacy protections that prohibit the sale of user data, and rules requiring that licensed clinicians be involved in the app's development and oversight. And third is the unregulated void at the federal level. The lack of a national standard is the root cause of this fragmentation, creating a compliance nightmare for developers, trying to operate across state lines and leaving citizens in most states with no specific protections at all. What this has created, inadvertently, is a high-stakes, real-world regulatory experiment. Over the next few years, we will be able to compare the outcomes. Will Illinois' prohibition model reduce harm but stifle innovation? Will Utah's safeguard model foster safer products, or will its rules prove easy to circumvent? This is, in effect, a massive A/B test on AI governance. But this is an experiment being conducted on a live, vulnerable population with no control group and very real consequences. The results may one day inform sensible federal policy, but in the meantime, the chaos of this patchwork system leaves too many people at risk.
Segment 7. The Backlash Made Visible. $1 million lesson in AI marketing.
Host. Finally, we look at what happens when the anxieties surrounding AI and mental well-being spill out into the physical world. The startup friend.com recently launched a massive $1 million ad campaign in the New York City subway system for its AI companion Pendant, a wearable device that listens to your conversations and acts as a friend. The public reaction was not just negative, it was visceral and visible. Commuters immediately began defacing the thousands of ads with their own commentary. Photos from the subway show posters scrawled with messages like, "AI is not your friend," "Stop profiting off of loneliness," and "This is a surveillance tool." What makes this story fascinating is that the backlash was, according to the company's CEO, Avi Schiffman, entirely intentional. Schiffman admitted to the press that he knew New Yorkers hate AI and deliberately bought ads with large amounts of white space specifically to invite socially comment. This wasn't a marketing campaign that failed. It was an act of rage bait marketing that succeeded in its goal of generating controversy and viral attention. And despite the overwhelmingly negative public sentiment, Schiffman reports that the company has seen a significant uptick in sales since the campaign began. This represents a cynical but potentially effective evolution in tech marketing, weaponizing controversy as a go-to-market strategy. The company viewed the vandalism and outrage not as a crisis, but as proof of engagement. However, for a product category as sensitive as AI companions, one that requires deep, foundational user trust, this approach is incredibly risky. It may drive short-term sales from curious early adopters, but it does so by poisoning the well for mainstream acceptance. The campaign actively reinforces the public's worst fears about this technology, that it is predatory, manipulative, and fundamentally anti-human. In the end, friend.com may have won a short-term attention spike, but it did so by trading away long-term brand equity and the trust of the very market it hopes to one day capture. And that closes out our three-part series, AI at the Edge of Human Experience. From digital ghosts that speak to our grief, to AI therapists in a regulatory vacuum, to marketing that weaponizes outrage, the through line is unmistakable. The closer AI gets to the human soul, the more unpredictable and revealing it becomes. This is where the frontier shifts from innovation to introspection. We're no longer asking what AI can do, but what it should do. For builders, founders, and policymakers ready to navigate that frontier with precision, our premium newsletter breaks down the systems, safeguards, and strategies defining the next era of AI. Skip the noise. Master the signal at NextGen AI. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for the next NextGen AI Daily Brief.